Hey everybody, my name is Brandon Scott and welcome to the Fandom Pastor, which can be found on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, or podcast. The Fandom Pastor is for all of us who love our fandoms and our faith. Fandoms are anything that somebody has a deep love for. Harry Potter, Broadway musicals, cult films, to name just a few. Join the Fandom Pastor as we see how God is connected to it all. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey all, this is Pastor Brandon with our next episode of the Fandom Pastor. We start a new series this time, and our clue is that this amazing industry started out as early as the late 1930s with the first few coin operated pinball machines. We are talking about arcades. Arcades, I know for a fact I personally spent more than a few hours at the local mall in the arcade, and I have no idea how many quarters I pumped into those machines. And for a while, arcades were going to the wayside, but now there seems to be almost this nostalgic reemergence of the games, of this design of the arcade. You can buy your own cabinets now, and the arcade is even coming back in the form of the traditional arcade as well as bars and other places like that. People are recreating the arcade because it was such a beloved time for so many people. Now, the first arcade game I want to talk about is the one that many associate with an arcade more than any other. That game is Pac Man, that little yellow character that would went around munching on little white dots and trying to avoid the ghosts unless you got the big pellet. Then you could chase the ghost, but you only had a certain amount of time, and you had to keep going faster and faster, and the ghost would go faster, and you had to be really paying attention. If you've ever played, you know how careful you had to be with your path, with the way you went around and gobbled all the pellets, because you had to collect all the pellets to go to the next level, but you had to be careful because not only did you have to collect all the pellets, but again, you had to avoid the ghosts. You had to avoid losing a life to those ghosts because if you made a wrong turn, if you weren't paying attention where all the ghosts were at, you could potentially get trapped and lose a life. Proverbs 4:26 says, "Give careful thought to the paths of your feet and be steadfast in all your ways." And we have to do that, don't we? We have to be like Pac-Man and we have to pay attention to where we're going and how we're moving through life and what our path looks like. Because there are things out there that are trying to trap us, that are trying to keep us away from God. Um, and it's things like the world and responsibilities for the world and darkness or Satan or evil, whatever you want to call it, is all trying to keep us away from God. And that's the path that we're supposed to follow, is the path that God has set before us. But sometimes we get so focused on those other things that well, we can make a mistake. We can get caught. We can get trapped. We can have our little issues. And God is there to make sure that we complete the game. Um, we complete our life in the best way possible. And so it's just so important that we recognize the paths for our feet and being steadfast in the ways we are to go. Something to think about. So here's my clue for next time. We continue our series on lessons from the arcade. Our clue for the next time is that the ancestor of this game was a French game called Bagatelle. I may have mispronounced that. So thanks, God bless, and I'll see y'all next time.